Blog Talk Radio.
Good morning. Welcome to TimetoPlay.com's Empower Half Hour, where each week professionals and experts provide discussion and tips to help us have a better life. The Time to Play philosophy is you have to be happy, healthy, have money, and a work-life balance to have quality of life. Time to Play is a people helping people project, and I've been honored to find wonderful professionals to help me in my efforts. Give me a call or email if you know someone amazing that should be a professional resource on Time to Play, or if you would like to be featured in a future podcast. Today, we are proud to have Ron Villano, a licensed psychotherapist, certified clinical hypnotherapist, life and bereavement coach, author, and national speaker, join us. Ron is the author of The Zing, which is an excellent book. I read it. That will help you start thinking about how to change your life. Ron has appeared before sold-out audiences across the country. He's the host of 2 internet radio shows, and he's currently featured on the Verizon Fios One network. Ron is a professional resource on the Time to Play site under Happiness as well. Good morning.
Hi, how are you doing? How you been?
We're fantastic. And I'm really happy to have you here today because this is a very hard time for a lot of people. I've worked in healthcare for 24 years. I've seen people, they just get very sad now, and I know that you are here to make people happy. The other thing that I want to say is we're not just going into specific bereavement. We're going to also talk about if, like, a loved one is away in the service or traveling for a job, and it's a very hard time for a lot of families. So how can we start to help people get through the holiday time?
Well, if you're speaking about people who are sitting there right now listening and they had somebody pass away, or and then they lost them a while ago, like myself. I lost my son Michael, was killed at 17 years old, right here on the Long Island Highway by Hospital Road by a tractor trailer, and that was July 22nd, 1998, and his friend Anthony was killed with him instantly. And there's a day that you don't want you want to remember, but you don't want to remember. And a lot of people listening right now know what I'm talking about. That they lost a mom, they lost a dad, a spouse, a grandchild, whatever loss they have, they're sitting there in pain. And there are people who have lost a pet, their dog, their cat, or a pet that was very close. They couldn't have children, and that became as if it was their child, and they're in pain this year, thinking how they don't have their little friend next to them as well. So me losing Michael, really when I lost him, I said he took my life. Now I say Michael gave me life. I see people differently. I say to those out there, we're helping people right now in my bereavement coaching that I came up with. We're helping people to get over the speed bumps of loss, get over the speed bumps. People sit there. There's somebody right now in the dark place of their house. Hopefully they're listening to the show, and they're listening, and they're saying nothing could help me, and no one could help them. Their family, their best friends. There's no job, no money. In fact, most of the people that sit there sometimes they're not suicidal, but if they could die, they would. I remember I would have died. It didn't matter to me. Now you know me, Dory. Now I'm like an energy of life and getting out there and speaking and living in the moment. And that's what I teach people. And I say to them, listen, when you lose someone close to you, you're never going to get over that. Anyone tells you that is completely wrong. But what you're going to do is you can learn how to live with it. And I have a phrase that says, honor your loved one's life by living yours. And I get people excited. I just spoke at the bereavement conference for the Brooklyn Diocese. It was a packed house. We'll have the video. We have professional camera people that will be on our website and within a couple of weeks. We did that because a lot of people always want to save the day, so we make a DVD they could purchase and get the DVD of the day. And when people leave there, they go, I didn't expect it. I expected someone to be up there like, humdrum, talking about, oh, boy, so you had your loss, and here's what we could do, and, the same things you always hear. I get up there, I get people infused with energy. I say when you leave here, you're going to be so excited and so happy. People are going to say, what did you do? Where were you? And they're going to say, oh, I was at a bereavement conference. Listen, you're kidding me. How'd you come back more excited than when you left? Because you understand, if our loved ones came back, if someone listening right now, and they know what I'm talking about, Michael came back. If your father could come back, your mother could come back, someone you lost can come back, I guarantee you, for 5 minutes, and they would look at you. What would they tell you to do? They would tell you to start living your life. What are you doing? I want you to have the best. I want you to enjoy the life you have. Because you may only have 1 minute left. You may only have 1 minute left, Doreen, on there. What are you doing with your time? You know, that's the key. Now, you know, someone out there, you were saying before, their loved ones away. My son was in the military. So somebody could be in the military right now. They could be in a dangerous part of the world, and they're sitting here thinking, oh, my God, not only don't I have my loved one here with me, but, oh, my God, I could get that phone call any second. And that is a reality. I mean, we deal with that as a licensed psychotherapist, to deal with people coming in who've had the loss. But one day you're smiling, next day, boom, something can happen. And how do you deal with that? Well, the only way to deal with that, and I'm telling you, only one way, is to have faith. Because whatever is, whatever's going to be is going to be. And if anybody could hold it back, if anybody could detain it, I want to meet that person. No one can stop fate. No one at all. And I think you understand that. You in the medical field. I mean, you work with that,
right.
And you see that, right?
Right. You know, I appreciate what you're saying. This honor your loved one's life by living yours is extremely strong. And actually, I was going to save it to the end, but your quote, when you choose to change your thoughts, you begin to change your life, which is part of your book, The Zing, where you evaluate the different things that are keeping you in the pattern where you are to try to start to change your thoughts. And you're 100% right. There is not one person, well, I guess you can't really say that because there are some miserable people out there, but there's not one person who would say, I want you to be as miserable as you can be, and a lifetime of sentence of being miserable. They do want you to be happy. People want you to live your life in the fullest. And you have the live through me thing, kind of thing. You know, that person is still alive through you. And I appreciate all of that. I'd like to give people some practical tips on what they can do if they are feeling sad because they are not at a conference watching you and becoming empowered. So what is step one if they are sitting in that dark corner of their house right now? What is step one for them to do today?
Well, something they could do immediately is to sit there and say to themselves, this is not going to be terminal. This is not going to be forever as far as the feeling they're having. And that's something you don't believe. I mean, when I was going through the darkest time losing Michael, and I'm telling you, I was depressed for years. I was down. I mean, there was no Ron Volano like you hear him now. And, you know, every bit of life was sucked out of me. And I have 3 other children. I also have 3 sisters. 2 of my sisters are also psychotherapists. I mean, I have a lot of support people. I have 3 brothers, everything, and friends, and I didn't see anything. And you know what I'm talking about, the person listening right now who's been through this. You know you're sitting there. You know no matter what I say here, it's not going to get you up and running outside. The only thing I'm attempting to do, because I respect that person grieving. I respect what they're going through. And I'm telling you, all I want you to think about is that person grieving right now who's stuck is to reverse the thinking that what we don't want to do is to grieve our loved one constantly. We want to start celebrating their lives. You know, going back 4 years ago, every year prior to that, July 22nd, get together with about 20 family members and friends, even, you know, we get together and we would talk about Michael, and it would be like, you know, what a shame this day happened. And that just never sit right for me because Michael didn't die July 22nd, 2003. He didn't die in 2005, 2007. He died July 22nd, 1998. So, but Michael was a real person. Do you know what I said? I said 4 years ago to my family, what we're going to do, we're not going to grieve Michael on July 22nd. We're going to celebrate his life. We're going to celebrate Michael. Everyone talks about him all year like he's a great guy. He was here. He's always alive with us. So we're going to celebrate. Half the people thought I was nuts, and the other half said, okay, we'll just go along. And guess what? Since 4 years ago that we celebrated Michael's life, my whole family took a turn, including myself. We're living again. We're excited again. We're honoring our loved one's life by living ours. And now I say to people listening, start to celebrate your loved one's life. And if someone passed away within the last few months, that's very difficult. And I know that. And that's why people like me are here to get out of your house, make appointments, and go to those counseling sessions, the private counseling sessions where you're sitting across from someone who's credentialed credentialed in psychotherapy, who's credentialed in hypnotherapy. Because if you come for grieving and you're stuck, and I put you through a hypnotherapy, I'm going to get to your subconscious. I'm going to start calming your mind. Because I remember when I was grieving and I was down in the pit, my mind was constantly racing. Those thoughts, how could I save Michael? How could this happen to me? Why didn't I do this? Why didn't I do that? Carried the guilt, all kinds of things. And guess what? If I would have known about hypnotherapy and someone would have pushed it on me, it would have been the best thing ever, just to calm my mind. No talk therapy, no telling you should feel better, no talking about the steps of grieving, just calming my mind down a little bit instead of just the same old thing, same old thing. And that's what's exciting about being with someone credentialed. And honestly, coming to someone like me, I will say this. The one advantage is, first off, I did go from the depths of hell. I know what that feels like, and I come to this point now living and loving and speaking all over the country, on television every day, spreading a message of embrace the power of change. Whether you went through a divorce, and I like what you were saying, Doreen, there are people grieving divorce. There are people grieving the loss of jobs right now. There are people grieving a loss of a relationship. People just getting up and saying, you know what, I didn't lose anyone. I feel so guilty. I didn't lose anyone. I still have my job, but I feel down. I don't know what I'm doing. I feel down. And that's what this time to play is all about, is to get people to start to live again, to start to laugh again, to say, wait a minute, all I have is this moment. What am I doing with this biggest gift, the most expensive tool that God or the universe could give you, that every single person who's dying right now on a deathbed, the one thing that they wish they could buy is one more second, and they can't, yet we're wasting those seconds with our health and being able to walk around, talk, and move and help others and help ourselves first. And are you doing that?
Absolutely.
Because you're wasting seconds. People are wasting the seconds on the clock. You know, you and I spoke. I'd love to get a talk, get business people all over the Long Island. I said, let's go rent Madison Square Garden out. Let's get people down there. Let's have a thing in there that's going to excite people, get them pumped instead of everyone isolating and who's talking to this corner of the people, who's trying to promote themselves. When we do our talks, so we've been to Virginia this year, we've been to New York City, we've been on Long Island, we've been to Mayor Park, New York. I mean, all different places. And I tell you, we go up there. When we leave, I'll show you cards, letters. We get plaques from people. Say, wow, this is crazy. I mean, I came here to support this young man, Justin, in Mayor Park, who passed away like my son Michael did, and the family put together this charity event about 3 weeks ago. So Judy and I went up there. They heard me speak here. They brought us up. They paid us to come up. They treated us like gold. I'm telling you, they treated us like the best hotel room, came down, gave the talk. And here's the key. The other people who came who didn't have a loss, but they're going to support Justin's family, because the family's a very well-known family, and they came for the dinner. You know what they said when I was done speaking? We had a line of people. Man, I was so dreading this. I thought it was going to be humdrum about death. I didn't want to hear about it too much. We feel bad about Justin, but I have children. I don't want to just, I don't want to keep hearing about it. It just makes me feel down. I thought I came to this uplifting, powerful thing about change, and I'm going to go home and do some of the tips you gave. You didn't just talk about that. You made it uplifting, exciting. You made Justin back alive again, like Michael. Absolutely. That's why we speak in front of corporations out there. We get up there. We teach them about embrace the power of change, and then mesmerized that what I went through can speak to them alive. You know why, Doreen? Because I recognize that death is real. When you know death is real is when you start living. I know death is real, and that's why I live every moment. I'm on your radio show today, and I happen to love Doreen. I think she's wonderful. I think she has energy, and she cares about the people, so I really do. Okay? But I come on your show. I treat your show, if I was on NBC Today's show, the same exact way. Because all I'm out for is one person listening to this show. And it might be you. It might be me. It might be one of our own relatives. But when they hear me, I'm hoping I touch one person, and then I move on with my day. See, anyone looking for fame and fortune, they could have the fame and fortune, but I can tell you this, it's not going to do anything to them internally. It's not going to excite them. It's not going to make them feel more powerful. All it's going to do is fill the bank account and their ego. I'm a seed planter. I'm hoping somebody gets excited, and then they hear something else from somewhere else, and they hear something from somewhere else, and it tags on, and then they come back to me. I'm telling you, that's what it's about. But, Doreen, I'm telling you, I said this to you once before, and anyone listening, we should have thousands of dollars for corporations instead of these golf outings and all these other things that people spend hundreds of dollars to go to. We should have Madison Square Garden, get in there, kick it. And then we should be at Citi Field. There's thousands and millions of people suffering, and there's no one giving them a message that's not tied into a religion.
And we're gonna. You know what it is we're a very reactive society. So even with people feeling their loss, we're reacting. And you said, of course, I worked in healthcare. I still work in healthcare since 1987. People are reactive. And that's where Time to Play's intention is to create them to try to, and what Ron does is try to get you to evaluate what you're lacking, what is the hole, because, and then, of course, yes, with a loss of a loved one in this manner, it's a very big hole, but to become proactive, like Ron was saying, with the health component. You know, don't wait till you have an amputation because you have diabetes. Fix it. You know, if you don't have money, if you don't have a job, what do you need to do? And that's what Time to Play's goal is, to bring resources for people so that they can take back control of their life. But let's get back to here. There's a person that I love, this one woman that I love, and she has recently lost her son, and it's incredibly horrible. He was almost the same age as my son. My son is 20, and I can't imagine. She did not decorate her home for this past holiday season because of the loss, and I just feel that that's tough. So I started to read a little bit of things, and it says, okay, so if you can't decorate, and Christmas is coming, and that's big, you know, and you said you have other children, of course, in your home. If you don't carry on something, so in this type of thing, your suggestion for people, do you not decorate? Do you do decorate? What is your suggestion? What should people do, you know, to make them get through this holiday?
Oh, so very cool you said that, because I didn't start decorating until, I'm going to guess in my head now, actually 4 years ago, after I started celebrating Michael's life. And that was, mind you, that's 4 years ago. I lost Michael 13 years ago. So for the first 9 years, I decorated nothing. And, I was starting to feel. I related to, when somebody's nerve, they go to the dentist to get Novocaine. And the Novocaine hits and you're numb. And then over hours, you can feel it coming back a little bit at a time. And that's what happened to me. I started, my nerve, like a nerve started feeling better, started coming up again. But it didn't come because time passed. And any of you listening, if you didn't have loss and you have a friend who had loss, never say to them, don't worry, time heals everything. That's the worst thing you could say to any of us, because time heals nothing. It's what you do with the time. It's Christmas coming, holidays. You need to do what feels good for you. Maybe this year you put a little stocking. Maybe you're going to put some stockings up, or you're going to put a tree up, or you're going to put a menorah, or whatever your religion is. You're going to put something up that reminds you of that sensitive time when all the families together, and it's not going to make you feel good. Then don't put it up yet. Okay? Really don't put it up yet. But you see, Doreen, not because I'm a licensed psychotherapist, hypnotherapist, and all this stuff that I say push counseling. But you see, when you go to counseling, you get to exercise these ideas. You get to exercise your feelings. You understand? There's no one across from you who's judging you. When you walk out of my door from counseling, you're walking out of there knowing one thing for sure. No one's going to know what you said. No one's going to know how you acted except for me. So the only one you have to deal with is me, and that's easy. So you go in there and say, how am I going to feel if I put a Christmas tree up? I'm going to cry. And then we talk about it. And then all of a sudden they start crying in the room and they feel it. Then they process it, and they come back and they process it. And the grieving process is really working now. And then we're affecting them in many other areas in their lives. Because when you lose someone, like I lost Michael, I say he was the camel that broke the camel's back. If so many other issues in my life came out that I couldn't stuff down any longer, like most of us do. Okay, so it came up. So if I wasn't going to a licensed psychotherapist, if I was going to just a bereavement counselor without the other credentials, they wouldn't have been able to handle my feelings about issues I had maybe with my family and issues I had with ex being married once before and all these other things that came up, childhood things. So really there was a healing that came about, and that's why I say Michael gave me life. So you know what? Could they put up a Christmas tree? Of course. But don't put it up just to put it up. Don't put it up because somebody told them, I think this would be good for you. No, because even if it does work out and you feel a little bit better, what's the consequences of those feelings after the holiday's over? There's so many ramifications and so many dynamics when it comes to loss and death. And, you know, I'm always mesmerized that we have so many funeral homes out there. Let's just go to the core, the funeral homes up the United States of America will make a decent money. You would think that they'd have a pool of money that they would put in, that they would be able to come to a place like you or me and say, come on, we're going to give $2 million out of all this money and have these talks set up throughout the country. So the people that spent good money to us, that we saw them down and out, and they're still living grieving, instead of having them come in the basement of our church every week and hear the same kind of grieving counseling going on week after week after week, let's infuse some kind of energy, and also let's infuse some energy in the bereavement counselors. Think of these people constantly working with this. They need some excitement too. There's so many good people out there that do bereavement counseling and coaching, and they're out there and they're licensed, and they need infusing. So there's so much to this. So you, on this topic that you brought up, and I thank you for it, so does Michael, and, you know, this is something that people are afraid to touch upon, except when they hear me, they go, wow, I actually feel more motivated than I did before, and you're speaking about bereavement. Exactly.
Right.
But I'll tell you this story.
Well,
any of your listeners right now who are healthy, you're getting up, you're walking around. Yeah, you may have some problems here and there, but you're walking around, you're able to move, you're able to talk. I'm telling you, if you're miserable now and you have all that going for you, what are you going to do when you really get sick? What are you going to do when something really happens to you and life changes your pathway? That's what my book, The Zing, is all about. Let me tell you something. The Zing is about living life 2 levels above passion, getting excited about life. It's not just about that. It's about changing your thoughts and giving the tools to do it. If you don't have the tools, I can tell you when you hang up from this show, when the people don't listen to the show after now and they walk away and they do nothing to help themselves, they don't go out there and get the tools, and they want to do it on a mantra, or these motivational speakers say to say, I love you, I'm going to do it, I'm going to change. Guess what? If that worked, we'd have no one complaining today.
Okay, we have like 8 minutes left, so I want to do a couple things. Firstly, if anybody wants to contact Ron, you could go to ronvillano.com, or you could go to TimetoPlay, and you could go to Happy, and you can pull up his page because his contact information is there. His office number is 631-758-8290. Next week is Thanksgiving. We're not going to do a podcast. The week after, on November 30th, we have Jean Brutman, who has more credentials after her name than you could know. She's a financial planner. She's on TimetoPlay. She's under the money finance part. She's going to be discussing setting financial goals for the new year, and she writes for New York Enterprise Reports. She's amazing. The podcasts are available on demand, so you can go and listen, and you can let people listen to Ron again. Afterwards, tell your friends, because a lot of people really do have a hard time at this time of the year. And this was our 5th week doing a podcast, and I'm really proud of the information we're putting together to help people have a better life. We have like 7 minutes, so I want to just go through some things because I did do a little bit of research. And Ron, we have like, give me 30-second answers, okay? It's okay to be sad. Yes? No. Acknowledging your feelings. Tell us.
Give yourself permission to grieve. Give yourself permission to cry. However, give yourself permission not to do it 24 hours. Give yourself permission to smile a little bit and infuse yourself with people who really bring you joy and eliminate the people who don't.
Perfect. Okay. If you are feeling lonely or isolated, I read this article before, we were speaking, and it's very interesting. Don't sit there lonely or isolated. There's groups, community groups, religious groups, volunteer for something, reach out to somebody. Suggestions?
Yeah, there's so many things. We're a resource for that. If you go to our website, like you said, ronvillano.com, we have resources for all different organizations throughout the country, from local all the way out there, that run wonderful meetings, and we speak for them, and we're friends with them, and one of them is Bereaved Parents of USA. There's other groups out there, and there's many, many places. In fact, Branch Funeral Home, located in Smithtown, is a good friend of mine, John, over there, Villante, and his family, and they even have some grieving things downstairs with a wonderful bereavement counselor that I know down there that could help them. And I don't even believe there's a charge for it.
No, that's cool. I was actually thinking too, maybe soup kitchens or maybe other places where, a charity or something where people can, start to live again and see happy, so maybe that's something. Maybe they're not ready right now, but something like this wonderful lady I know, she is a Blue Star mom, and she joined the Blue Star Moms, and they're doing a packing for the troops on the 21st of November. We're actually doing a little collection if anybody wants to donate some toothbrushes or blankets and things for the mailings. So that's something to consider. On the Time to Play website, Ron wrote an article about sticking to a budget, and we have 4 minutes to go here. So that's something interesting, and I had read a little thing about, don't buy an avalanche of gifts to try to make yourself happy. So, Ron, 30 seconds about sticking to a budget for the holiday.
Well, first off, you need to always stick to a budget, especially these days, but the budget really needs to be a mindset. You said it before. When you choose to change your thoughts, you begin to change your life. So change your thoughts about how you handle Christmas and the holidays. And honestly, sit down and write down on a piece of paper the gift you're purchasing for someone, and then give yourself an answer on why you're purchasing them that gift and why you're spending that amount. Do not spend the amount that you think the other person is going to spend on you, because that doesn't work. Buy them what you think you want to buy them, and that's it. And if you get a sale, you're going to spend $100 on something, but you can get it for $40. Doesn't mean you have to go spend another $60 on them. They don't know you got the sale.
True. Don't abandon healthy habits. I think exercise.
Doreen, I won't do that with you. I'll spend all the money, whatever it's supposed to be.
Oh, good. I would really like, a trip to Tahiti. No kidding. Healthy habits. Exercise is something that people do use. It creates good endorphins. Maybe if somebody is not 100% well, maybe walking or getting some fresh air. Thoughts on that?
Yeah. One of the best things of all is to work out. Do the three things. You want to be spiritually, physically, and emotionally sound. So physical is it's the easiest thing that you could ever do. There's nothing easier that you can do than for yourself. It's a no-brainer. I work out in the gym 6 days a week, and I go to a gym. I know people work out in their homes. I'm telling you, if you get up and you go to the gym, that makes it more exciting. That makes it happen more, and that makes it feel more worthwhile because you're watching other people do it. So don't isolate in your house. I know some people like to stay in their houses, whatever reason, but if you can get up and move around, go to the gym. Hey, for $30, $40 a month, and if you use the gym 5-6 days a week, it's cost you $1 a day. How could you beat it?
Yeah, it's completely worthwhile. Absolutely. I read this thing about honoring your loved one and celebrating the life, and I love that whole concept of it. So these are takeaways of things that we're trying to just at least, I know it's only 30 minutes, but just to maybe spark somebody to, start to rethink. I love the quote. When you choose to change your thoughts, you begin to change your life. And that seek professional help if you need it. If you are persistently sad, anxious, plagued by physical complaints, unable to sleep, irritable, hopeless, unable to face routine chores. That was from the Mayo Clinic's website. I had Googled. And that's maybe if somebody sees themselves in that is something.
I would love to say this, though. I'd love to just, before we leave, I'd love just to give my blessings out there and, recognition to the Blue Star moms. Those are military people who lost their children. The Blue Star moms are incredible.
The Gold Stars lost. The Blue Stars are fighting.
Blue Star moms.
Fight. Gold's lost.
Yeah. And, just like to give it out to them because these people also sitting there and their kids went out to help us and they're not coming back. So there's so much out there. It's about time. But I'm very excited to be part of Doreen and your organization. And hopefully, we'll do some big things and really get people excited about living again.
You and I are going to talk in a few minutes a little bit more, and then we'll start planning that. But just want to tell everybody to go, if you have not, go to check out TimetoPlay.com. Start posting events. Tell your friends. Send me what you want or need to know. Our contact info is right on the Time to Play site. And thank you so much for joining us. and we all wish you and your family a happy and healthy Thanksgiving. And thank you so much, Ron. I hope that we might have done just what you wanted to help that one person.
Wonderful. Thank you for having me. Have a nice Thanksgiving, everyone.
Thank you so much, Ron.